Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I have an extensive video for you and it's going to be interesting. So I'm going to do my classics collection. Woo, yay, great, right? Yeah, I don't know what caused me to think I should do this, but here we are. Yes, and if it looks a little different, it's because I have my classics in place of my Shadowhunter books. These are all of the classics I haven't read yet. There's a lot. And then I have a huge stack next to me of classics I have read. The reason I have all of these is because really I'm an English major and I figure at some point in the next 3, maybe 5, I don't know if I'm going to grad school yet, years, I'm going to have to read a vast majority of these. And even if I don't have to, I want to read pretty much all of them. Like, at one point in my life, I would like to read all of these. And so I have them. Most of them I have gotten at secondhand bookstores or like friends have given me. Or like, I mean, some of them I've bought new or close to new. Consignment sales, like where I live, we have this huge book sale and there's like thousands upon thousands of books. And so that's where I get pretty much all of these. That is to say, I'm not buying all of these regular price. That's crazy. I would never do that. If you do that, that's great, but I do not have the money to do that. And this has been over the past 3 years, and it's still ongoing. I have like 9 classics left to buy that I know of. I also just want to say, if you don't consider any of these classics, I don't know what to tell you. I know we all pretty much have different opinions as to what makes a classic a classic. But this is what I consider to be classics, and these are all the books that are on the classic shelf in my living room. So, there's like 51 books here, so I'm just gonna like go through them. And first I'm gonna go through the books I have read. And I might tell you like some thoughts, I might not. And if I mispronounce any of these titles or authors' names, I really am sorry. I try my best. Let's dump, okay, let's just dump. Can I speak? No, let's just dump in. Let's just dump in. Let's just jump in with Persuasion by Jane Austen. I love these editions. Pretty much all of my Jane Austen books except for Pride and Prejudice, which we'll see. Yeah, you can see the other ones right there, are in these editions that I get from a bookstore called Second and Charles. Love that place. And I get these pretty much on sale, so bargain prices. This was my second Jane Austen, and I really enjoyed it, and I liked it a lot better than Pride and Prejudice. She's pretty, isn't she? I just love these editions so much. And when they're all together, the spines look just great. So there's one. Second classic I have is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I took Spanish in high school, not French, so I don't really know. Yes, I read this last October before the Rebecca adaptation movie hit Netflix, so I liked it. It's a romance mystery. It gave me Jane Eyre vibes. So it was pretty good. Okay, then I have Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I read this last year after having watched the new 2019 version of the movie, which I loved. I didn't love this book as much as the 2 movie adaptations, but it was still valuable. It made me cry. I love this edition. It's so pretty. I really like Signet classics. I think they have really good editions, and I have a lot of them. So, yeah. If you've watched this for a while, this was in, and most of these are in my 20, or the classics I read in 2020. I'll link it in the cards and maybe the description. And then I talked about this in my January wrap-up, which will also be in the cards and in the description. Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. It took me ages to get through this humongous book. This is like 800 pages. And I didn't even really like it that much. It was okay. To me, it was just like an average classic. It was an average book as far as classics go. Yeah. But I read it, so I now know who Anna Karenina is. Can you tell I don't like know what to say with these? Like, they're classics. Like, I feel like we all have heard of them and have a vague understanding of what they are. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Read this last summer. It was good. I really liked the movie with Keira Knightley. Anywho, yeah, it was good. I might reread this year. So I feel like I didn't give it a fair chance. I don't know. We've all heard of Pride and Prejudice. So. This next book was one of my favorites that I read last year, and is arguably my favorite classic of all time now. And that is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Bronte. Anywho, I loved this beautiful beast. Yeah, I just love this book. It's really, really good. In my opinion, it's better than Pride and Prejudice. Forgive me. Don't come for me. And I love, like, the picture. I just love this book. Next book I read my senior year for AP Lit, and that is Wuthering Heights. This was my summer project book. I read it twice. I wrote in it. I love this edition. I really want some more Penguins classics, but they're hard to find and they're usually never on sale. So I have like 3, I think, in this, like, with this, but I just think they look so cool all together. Anywho, Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. You know, I liked it okay. Like, less than Pride and Prejudice and Jane Eyre, but more than Anna Karenina. And it's like, I put it on par with Rebecca. Kind of gives me the same vibes. Kathy and Heathcliff, you know, we've all heard of them, and I now know who they are. And I would read it again, which I think is saying something, because most of these classics I would never read again. But I would read this again. And like, if we studied it in English at college, I would not be disappointed. Here's another Penguins Penguin classic. And it's Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. I have seen the movie before this, so I knew generally what happened, but I still wanted to read it because it is a classic and it's only 100 pages. So again, love the cover. It made me cry. It was, I mean, it's an interesting story, I guess. It's not my favorite. It was pretty average. I don't think, if I remember correctly, the writing wasn't my vibe. The next book used to be my favorite classic, Don't Come For Me, and it's The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Read this in my sophomore year of high school. It's bringing me back. I don't know if I would have the same feelings I had on it that I did then. You can feel like where the tabs are. Anyway, yeah, for most of these books that I read a couple of years ago, my thoughts on them have probably changed. And I think any book you read in school, if you read it outside of school, the experience is going to be way different and your feelings are going to be way different. So I don't know how I would feel about this now, but it used to be number 1 on my favorite classics until I read Jane Eyre. Yeah, Great Gatsby. I would reread it though. I probably will reread it. I don't know when, but I would. Next book I also read for AP Lit, and that is The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. This is a really weird book. And like, I get he had like all these deeper themes and whatnot, but like, it was weird. A man turns into a cockroach. Yeah. I would not reread this. I kept it just in case like we happen to study it again, but A Farewell to Arms by Ernest Hemingway. I read this as my summer project before my sophomore year, and I absolutely detested it. This edition's really cute. Like, I love I just think it looks cool, but I hated this book. I hated the prose. I thought I would be all into it because it's World War One, and I'm also a history major, and I hated it. I just did not like the writing at all. It's one of my least favorite classics, and it really turned me off to Hemingway to the point where now if anyone says his name, like, my automatic response is to roll my eyes. But I kept it just in case we study it again. Next book I read, oh my god, again, AP Lit, Hamlet. It's the No Fear Shakespeare version. Forgive me. Is that the version I read? Yes. I did read all of it though. Because I'm an English major who, dare I say it, hates Shakespeare. I can't do it, guys. I just can't read. I can't read his prose. My brain just doesn't work that way. So I got the No Fear Shakespeare version, and it really helped. This is my second favorite Shakespeare play I've read under Macbeth, which I should probably get all of these. I'm trying my best to avoid at all costs any class associated with Shakespeare. We'll see how it works out. I kept it just in case it doesn't work out. Next one, Lord of the Flies by William Golding. We read this my junior year. This was the summer book for junior year of high school. But actually, before I read this for that class, I had already read this. And this is up there for one of my favorites. And not for like the weird reasons. I just think it's an excellent story of what situation and circumstance can do, even to like the most innocent group of people, which would be little kids. And I don't know, it gave me Lost vibes. And yeah, I think it's really good. I've read it 3 times now, and the prose is like a little difficult to get through, but after reading it 3 times, I mean, it was like easy peasy lemon squeezy. Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I read this like independently for AP Lit, and I hated it. But I just did not like the writing. I was really excited because everyone said they loved it, and then I read it and I was like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I'm sure there's some valuable stuff in here. I didn't take anything from this book besides the fact, like, after like a year and a half has passed since I read this, and all I remember is that for the most part it was a teenage boy whining, and frankly, that's not what I want to read. Period. I might reread it though. Maybe. Next book I also read last year, Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. If you watched my favorite or my classics video from last year, you know that I went into it expecting a romance, and when I did not get that, I was pretty disappointed. There's a sticker on it. I would reread it though, Like, especially after having reread The Infernal Devices in January, and there's so many references to this book right here, and their daughter Lucy is named after Lucy in this book. So, like, I would reread it, probably just based on that. But the prose really killed me. It really killed me. Okay, how are we doing? Next book, classic I've read, is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I read this junior year of high school. I think, did I read this twice? No. Look at how much I wrote, like, all in it, though. Can you see? I hate this edition. Like, I hate it. But it is the edition I wrote all in, so I'm going to keep this edition. I was one of the few people in my class who actually liked this book. Very much Wuthering Heights, Rebecca vibes. The prose is a little difficult to read, and it's written like I don't know if it's this edition or just the times, but it's like a little weird format wise. But I actually liked it. I liked the story. Victor and his monster, I now understand all the cultural references. And so, yeah, I would reread it. Like, I for one, enjoyed it. I don't know about everybody else. Okay, second to last classic I have read, that I have read, is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Read this last year. You'll have to watch that video to see my full thoughts because I really don't remember. The prose killed me, but the story was really interesting, especially because I love characters who are morally gray and even like go into the black area of that. And that's definitely what happened. Okay, last classic I have that I have read is Beowulf. This is the translation by Seamus Henley, and I read this again junior year. I wrote all in it. I don't know what any of these colors mean. I don't even know what these tabs mean. But I'm glad I kept this copy because I'm going to be in like 2 medieval literature classes next semester. And he mentioned this in one of the descriptions, and I was like, I've read that and I have my copy still. So, haha. Cha-ching! It pays off to think ahead. I'm just saying, if you're in high school right now and you're watching this and you give away your classics that you buy because you have to read them for school, keep them. Even if you're not an English major, keep them. They could come in handy. Yes. I actually like this. Like, again, I was one of the few people in my class when we read this who actually enjoyed it, and I read the whole thing. Did I have to like spark notes some of it? Kinda. But I actually really enjoyed it. Ooh, my handwriting. These are the books I haven't read, and I don't know what they're about, so I'm just gonna go through them. We have Tennessee Williams, The Glass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams. My mom's friend, whose daughters this used to be English, wrote all in it, but like I don't really care because maybe her notes will be helpful to me. Is this a classic? I'm not sure. I don't even know what it's about. But next we have Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift. Look how cool this edition is. Like, can we talk about it? Ooh, yes, it is all written up in. That's cool. I've heard of Gulliver's Travels, the island. Is it the same thing? Is there a correlation? I don't know. But it was like $2 at Second and Charles, so I bought it. Okay, next is Don Quixote. Not me trying to like work my Spanish speaking accent in there. Quixote? Don Quixote? Quixote by Cervantes. I am really excited to read this. I love this edition. Again, Signet Classics doing it up right. This is the abridged version. I don't know if that like means anything. I'm an English major, I should know, but I really don't know. I'm only a freshman, okay? Yes. Okay, next two. I read these, well, I read the Odyssey in 10th grade. No, 8th grade? 8th grade, ooh. But it was like the one in like the textbook. So did I actually read it? I don't know. After reading Circe and rereading The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, both by Madeline Miller, I really want to read Homer's The Odyssey and Homer's The Iliad. I don't know if these editions are good or not. Ooh, there are pictures. There's a map. Yes, they don't even match. So I'm sure like I'm going to have to, if I do read these in school, I'll probably have to get the specific edition that the teacher wants, professor wants, but I have them. I'll read those on my own, even if I don't ever read them in school. Next we have Charles Dickens' Great Expectations. Midwest, right? After reading Tale of Two Cities, though, I'm not in a big rush to get around to this. I like the cover, though. And sorry about that. It happened when I took the sticker off. Okay, next, Catch-22 by Joseph Heller. Again, sticker. Pilot, plain, it's got blue page, like, edging. I don't know what this is about. Okay, next two I'm not gonna throw. We have The Brothers Grimm 101 Fairy Tales. I got this at my local bookstore. It's beautiful. I love it. Look! Oh my god, I didn't even know that was there. Yeah, I've been meaning to read this for like 2 years now, and I should probably just go like read it one at a time. I love the edition though. It's beautiful. It's real leather. We're not throwing it. The next one is a similar edition, and it's The Adventure of Sherlock Holmes. I actually started to read this one time, the plaid, and I was just not in the mood. So maybe I'll get around to it this year. Also, the type is really tiny, and I know everyone loves Sherlock, so, and I love the show Sherlock, so I just need to like do it, and it's not even that long. I mean, come on. Anyhow. Okay, last book in this little section. I'm just gonna go through them until it's empty, okay? Because I've been throwing these and not putting them back. We have Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath. This is an old Penguin classic. Did I get this and Great Expectations confused? Or are they both about the Midwest? So we have Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. I think we read an excerpt of this. In 8th grade. I think that's wrong. Is it about wine? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? No. Anywho, it's a beautiful edition. I love Signet, I'm telling you. And I got this like this month, I think, so cool. Next we have The Jungle by Upton Sinclair. Factory Life, yep. I learned about this in APUSH in 11th grade, which is AP US History. Isn't this about the meat factory? I'm pretty sure. Anywho, I've wanted to read it ever since then. Love the cover. Don't know when I will ever read it, but it's on my list. Okay, Jude the Obscure by Thomas Hardy. I saw Noelle from Noelle Gallagher, her channel on here on Book Talk. I love her. She read this and she absolutely loved it, and I trust her with my life. So yeah, I am excited to read this. I'm hoping to read this sometime this year. I love the cover, and I got it on sale. This is a Barnes & Noble Classics. Well, I love the cover of Barnes & Noble, so good job. hoping to read that this year. Next, we have Moby Dick by Herman Melville. This looks really short. Like, isn't this famously absolutely ginormous? Anywho, we've all heard of Moby Dick, the whale. I'm Ishmael. Isn't that the first line? Call me Ishmael. I've heard about this pretty much my whole life because my mother absolutely loathes this book, and she says it's the only book in high school that she never read and she only used SparkNotes for. I don't know if I want to read this. I would like to read it to get all the references, and I might even like it because, well, that might be going too far. I don't know when I'll ever read this, though. I like the edition. It's pretty. Okay. Then we have The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. Again, they are different editions. I can't help that. This one's pretty. This one's freaking heavy. Oh my god, and the pages are Bible thin. Oh, 500 pages. Oh god, I don't know about that. I don't know when I'll ever read these, especially since I just saw how long this is. But I have them. Okay, next book is Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. It's gorgeous. I mean, come on. Like, it's beautiful. I don't know what this one's about. I just want to read all of Jane Austen's works, so here's this one. Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Sorry. I really did try that. Isn't this one about law? Like law? I don't know. I was like wanting to read this, and then I read Anna Karenina, and I was like, and I'm like, do I ever want to read any type of Russian literature ever again? I don't know. Then we have George Orwell's 1984. Heard about this for the majority of my life as well. This is one I'm actually excited for because like Big Brother and stuff, and like the Steve Jobs commercial, the Apple commercial about like Big Brother, and do you know what I'm talking about? Yes, I want to read this. Will I ever? I don't know, because I hated Orwell's Animal Farm. Like that and the Scarlet Letter. I don't think I ever even finished Animal Farm when I read it sophomore year. Like that was freshman year. I hated it. Okay, next we have George Eliot's Silas Marner. Yeah, I think my mom likes this one. So, then we have Into the Wild by John Krakauer. I like watched half of the movie. Pygmalion by George Bernard Shaw. I love that cover. Maybe this is the one my mom likes. Maybe she likes both of their pictures. Then we have Les Mis by Victor Hugo. I have actually another edition of this, but I bought that first edition, and then I was told by the owner of my local bookstore that I needed to get the unabridged. So this is the unabridged. I really want to read this, but the fact that it's 14, tell me it's not longer, 1,400 pages really just scares me. But I love Les Mis. I've seen the musical, like in person. Oh my god. That was the last thing I did last March before the pandemic hit. It was like the 7th, I think. So literally like a week before the world went to hell was when I saw Les Mis in person. And it was incredible. Love the soundtrack. Love the movie. So I want to read this. But like, do I? Do I really? do I? Last section. Thank God I've got a headache and I'm hungry. This is the third video I've filmed today. Let's start with The Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Didn't he write wasn't he War and Peace? Because I really want to read War and Peace. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, I bought this after I read Anna Karenina, and my mom was looking at me like I was crazy because, like, I hated Anna Karenina. Well, I didn't hate it. I didn't like it though. There are a lot of references to this, I think, in The Goldfinch. I love the cover. Barnes & Noble Classics doing it right again. Will I ever read this? I don't know. Unless I take like a European literature class. Or would it just be Russian? Anywho, we have Arthur Miller's The Crucible, which is my third and final Penguins classic. We watched the movie in 10th grade, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to be talking about this in my medieval literature class. Okay, then we have Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. I've heard everyone loves this, and I started to read it one day, but I just was not in the right place of mind. But I really want to read this. I mean, the cover is just beautiful. Harper, okay. It's really good. Good cover. I don't even know what it's about. Okay, then we have William Faulkner's As I Lay Dying. Then we have The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. This is one that I want to read this year, mark my words. Because The Handmaid's Tale is like top 3 favorite shows of all time. Like, she's up there. And it starts back up in April on the 28th. Got it in my mind. Yeah, I love The Handmaid's Tale, so I want to read it. Okay, then we have Dracula by Bram Stoker. I actually got like 40 pages into this last October, and then I was like, not feeling it. So the prose was like, I don't know. Then we have Villette by Charlotte Bronte. I like Jane Eyre, so I want to read the rest of what she wrote. So here she is. Then we have Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl. I need to erase that, but I mean, I've heard about this. I watched the movie like in 5th grade. That was like one of the first movies I watched on Netflix when we first got it. I can't say I'm excited to read this, but like, I'm anticipating being clued in on the knowledge, and like everyone and their mother has read this, so okay, let's put it down. Last 2 books are my remaining Jane Austens, and they are Sense and Sensibility and Northanger Abbey. I'm excited for these beautiful, I mean, just all around gorgeous. Yeah, I want to read all of these and then Mansfield Park, and I want to get Emma and read them this year. So that's it for this video. It's been 10 long years. I'm starving, I have a headache. My hands feel gross. Literally been sitting in this chair for the past 2 hours talking. So I'm gonna go. There's a huge big old pile of books on my floor that I don't know what to do with. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed. If you stuck around for all of this, thanks. I'm sorry. Like, subscribe, maybe. I'm so excited to go eat a sandwich. I can't even tell you. Peace out. Goodbye. I should have more classics content coming, maybe. Peace out. Goodbye. In the video, my dog's barking.